Welcome to Deep Thought, the importance of change agents. And I've talked about this before. And, I kind of built everything up this week. I talked about the supermen among us, the men, and honestly it could be women, but, you'll see it mostly among men who can rise to that next level. They are above the masses. And by being above the masses, therefore, they don't follow along. In many ways, those supermen are rebels against the social programming that we have out there. They're not following along. They're not following the crowd, the herd, inferior man, the sahu, whatever term you want to use. They're not following along. They're following their own path. And indeed, some of them even create a path. They create a new programming. And that's one of the bad things about programming. Sometimes when you dismantle one matrix, you just end up creating another one. Something to think about later on too. Yeah, just real quick, that's the purpose of Deep Thought, just to think. Just to think. But the importance of change agents. Change agents are important because the change agents, they actually, the good ones, and I'm going to focus just on the good ones. Of course, you have some whose motives are more to feed their own egos or to feed their own power. But the good ones who look to change. Because let's just be real, a lot of stuff happening out here is because of the negative programming and how the masses are being, how they being taught religion. Now, I'm going to say that regardless of the religion, because one thing religious, any real study will show there's always different levels. There's always different levels. That could be another conversation, but there's different levels, and the masses are taught just enough to keep them under control. And usually you have some people who are administering that, who are using that for their own benefit, whether it's to get money or, quite frankly, get sex or, whatever. But it's a power thing. But the importance of change agents, the change agents are here to free you from the social programming. If you're on the side of good. If you're on the side of good. I was going to say on the side of light, but that's another conversation too, because who says the dark is bad? Chicken in the hen house. So anyway, fox in the hen house. But the importance of change agent, we need change. Change is constant. A lot of things, I'm going to tell you what, everything happening out here in the world is more of a social thing than anything else. Technology is neutral. People say the technology, and of course people are adapting to it, but at the end of the day, it's neutral. It's neutral. You have someone who can hack a computer, or they'll hack computer systems, right? And of course that's a bad thing for the people who get hacked, like their credit cards and all of that. But the same person using that for good, same tool for good, can protect against that and even create systems that can help out more people. So that's just the tool, it's not the technology. But what is important there is who's welding the tool, who's welding the weapon. Like, we got all this argument about gun control and everything, and of course we have the mass shootings, and people say, hey, just control the guns, just control the guns. And I can get that, control how people get in the guns, and you know what, I'm for that. But the more important thing is, what are we doing about the situation where somebody's actually killing? What we doing? It's not about the guns. Shoot, they can get some poison and put it in some water system or something. Seriously. You can get a cafeteria worker who wants to hurt all the children, and they just happen to be working there, and they gradually put some poison in drinks or something. But once again, that's a tool. So deal with the person first. Now, what was their programming? What was going on with them to even get them to that level? What were they taught? What were they thinking? So the thing with the change agents is they actually change programming. Because a true change agent isn't just, they're affecting how people are thinking. In some cases, waking them up. Well, like I said, I was about to talk about some of the bad stuff, but I say, no, that's another video. You do have some Agent Smiths out there. But here's the thing. What are they doing? They switching up. They're switching up. They are making a difference. And it could be in small ways. It can be in small ways, you know. I was thinking about, you know, when I was young, a teenager, and, you know, my grandmother wanted me to play sports. At first, she wanted me to play hockey. And I was like, I ain't playing hockey. But I played soccer in gym class, so I started playing that. And I remember I was at a doctor's office. I saw a poster for the soccer team. So that actually helped me, because I went to the team, got a part of it and everything. And, you know, and there was it became like a full club. I have to really check on them, see what they're doing. But I saw the results of that team. I saw the results of that little soccer club, because it was focused on kids in a primarily black urban area. And a lot of the kids who went through that program, there was a big difference made in their lives. There was a big difference, and many of them went on to did something. Now, who was the change agent? The woman who came up with it. Now, she was an auntie to me. She was an auntie to me and everything. And she made a big difference in the lives of many young men and boys and girls, actually. Boys and girls, her own family, of course. But that's a change agent. It's not always about like that major, you know, that major spiritual leader or that politician or that celebrity. It could be that older woman who lives in a poor neighborhood. Like, I remember it was the summer of 1984, and this was in DC. The area is pretty much gentrified now. You got the fancy apartments, but it was Kenilworth Parkside in the DC area. It was a notorious drug area. I mean, the police used to just walk down the street with a couple police officers and cruisers, just walk down the middle of the street. It was almost like an occupation army, how it was. That's how bad it was. And my summer job was to clean up around there. Me and some other young people, cut the grass, all of that stuff. And there was one house, like everything, like they had some single family homes and all of that. And all of them still, they kind of fit in with the rest. But there was one house that was real beautiful, flowers and everything. And they said a nice lady lived there. And I thought about that. I said, you know what? In this blight, you have this woman who is probably a grandmother to all the young guys in the area. Because what somebody had said was, if anybody were to mess with her, even the thugs in the neighborhood would lace up and go deal with the person who messed with her. You know, that's how bad they protected her. All this stuff going on, they protected her. But that's a change agent. That's a change agent right there. You know, teaching somebody how to, you know, bringing a certain presence. You know, and I've seen people in those type of poor neighborhoods. They were helping people. I remember my mother. When we were living in Southeast DC. She used to teach Bible study to some of the local kids. These bad kids, but they come in there and she started teaching them Bible verses and all of that. What kind of change is that? See, change agents, they make a difference. It's a very important thing, and we need that. We need those individuals who step up and say, well, we're going to make a difference. It could be, like I said, it could be small. I knew this security officer. He was just a security officer. It would seem like a modest job. But he did several things. One, he coached a little league football team. And then on top of that, he had an after-school program for them using computers. Now, this is back in the 90s when I met him. So, you know, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like these little small things. It wasn't like those big clunky things. But he took money out of his own pocket to help these kids educate themselves. It was an after-school program. That makes a big difference. In fact, I knew another guy who had an after-school program because he had a shirt. Like, I used to sell sports t-shirts. Yes, 1,000 jobs. So you have a sportswear line. I should find one of those shirts and show it to y'all. But I had a sportswear line back in the day. Yeah, 1,000 jobs. But I remember I went to this one store to see if they would carry it. They carried it, but they also had an after-school program. So this guy was making money. It was a young guy too, but he also had an after-school program for kids in the neighborhoods. That's a change agent. And that's the thing. That's the thing. They're very important. And these are men and women. Now, I know in the first one this week I said men, but you got some women doing the thing too. It was the time of day I recorded it, y'all. Anyway, you got these men and women, they are making a difference. Otherwise, the world would just go. And in fact, in some ways, they even help break programming. They help break programming. They provide an example. And that's the important thing, and that's the one thing we need. And like I said, it doesn't have to be like some superstar, you know? They don't have to be some superstar. I got a YouTube channel and 1 million followers. It don't have to be that person. You know, it don't have to be that highly educated person. You know, some of the greatest change agents I've met in my life, they didn't have the same level of education. They weren't on TV. They weren't famous, anything. But they made a difference in the lives of those around them. So I want y'all to think about that. I want you to think about that. So anyway, that's all I have for now. Think about that. And, you know, this week I talked about supermen, rebels, change agents. I want y'all to think about your own life. And maybe, in fact, I already know some of you are one of those. Some of y'all are. You meant to go beyond. I don't even think most of y'all will watch this channel if you weren't trying to take it to another level. Heck, even some of the detractors coming on here probably want to take it beyond where they at. I want you to think about what you can do to make a difference. It don't have to be major. It don't have to be spectacular. Nobody has to know about it. You know? It could just be inspiring someone to pick up a book. You know? Inspiring somebody, they on a crossroads about what they should do to make money. And just saying, hey, you can do it. That's a change agent too. You know? So I want y'all to think about that, all right? And let's see, you know, for those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate it, but you celebrate some holiday, happy holidays. So anyway, y'all have a great day today. And really think about everything I talked about this week, okay? And I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.